Xbox, Record This is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, Xbox, and the good old days. If you'd like to find out more, head to xboxrecordthis.com. Oh, hello. Welcome to XRT episode 8. I'm your host, Daddy Diwali. And if you couldn't tell, I'm a little upset again, you guys. We've got more technical issues, but thankfully, Riverside is uploading. I can see it. So we do have audio, we do have video. Unfortunately, well, I'll get to that person later. Joining me as always, the assistant to the co-host, Chipotle Bear is here. Chipotle Bear, how are you doing?
What's up, Diwali? Excited to be here. Sunday nights, we had a lot of rain out here in Colorado, so it's a great time to be indoors chatting with some buddies.
Speaking of indoors, perfect segue as always. That's why I hired you.
Always.
We have our assistant to the assistant co-host here, no longer known as N7 Indoorsman. Third person, you can introduce yourself and explain the name change, please.
Bubble Boy in 7, and I'm, like I said to you guys the other day, I'm a little offended that none of you came up with this first. All the credit goes to Ashley when we were out camping, and the second I would go outside, either my eyes would start itching or I'd get start coughing from the smoke, get bug bites, all the different things. We were glamping even. We weren't even camping. We were in an RV with like running water and all that good stuff. And it's still just not for me. And she was like, Jesus, you just can't even go anywhere. Just stay inside. The second like natural air hits your skin, you're just done for. I was like, yeah, I'm like a bubble ball. Oh my God. That's it. Because Indoorsman just never, I feel like it was a lot to say.
It didn't roll off the tongue.
And to be fair, we didn't like that name anyway. We liked your original name, which we cannot say. So we were never a fan of N7 Indoorsman. It wasn't bad, just wasn't great. But this name, I agree, Bubble Boy. And for those of you listening, we are old, middle-aged men, according to Chipotle Bear,
Absolutely.
Who love Seinfeld. It's a Seinfeld reference, you guys, when Jerry visits. I can't remember. Was George there too?
Yeah, the Moops.
George was
the
his
whole
girlfriend.
Moops.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they visit, and there's a bubble boy, and they're shocked at meeting this son that couldn't ever leave the parents' house, and so hence he's a bubble boy. So from now on, the potential assistant to the co-host, third chair, will forever be known as Bubble Boy N7. He is all across social media now. He secured the name, so I'm very happy about that.
Yep.
Fun fact, I also thought about changing my name to Diwali N7, but I'm already enough of a Mass Effect simp, I couldn't do it. So I just want to point out again, you guys, I was the first of our friends to get all achievements in Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Untrue.
Let it be known.
Untrue.
I was the first. Before Shady,
debatable.
or before Bubble Boy starts talking about how, I had it first. He didn't. I had it before he did, and before his achievements glitched. Go ahead, Chance. What have you been playing?
Is Barry Bonds going into the Hall of Fame for all? There is an asterisk next to Diwali's first 1,000 out of 1,000 because it wasn't. He cheated, and there you have it. You heard it here first.
How did he cheat?
He did the glitch where you go that they patched, and he went and he replayed
Chance is just mad
the
that
end of
he
Mass
can't do it.
Effect 1, just that last boss 3 different times, and pop, got those.
You know
3.
what? I'll have you know, Chance, I actually played on Insanity on 3 just because to prove that I could. And I did. I didn't do it on 2, but I did have it on the second highest difficulty. It's easy.
I will
if you're
take
an
your word
infiltrator,
for it. I believe
you can do it. And I already earned those Insanity achievements before
It doesn't matter.
on
It's a new
PS3
game.
and
It's
360.
A new game.
Anyway, I was first to do it, guys. Anyway, Jose, how about you? I'm skipping Chance now. What have you been
Well,
playing?
before I get into what I've been playing, I just want to point out for the audience out there, when you talk about being the first of our friend group to get the 1,000 out of 1,000, you are really only one of 2 that will ever do it. It's you and Chance. Literally everyone else in our friend group will play the game and complete the game and literally not get 1,000 out of 1,000. Not to lessen your achievements, both of you gentlemen, but just so everyone out there is not like, when are you going to do it? The answer is never. But on that note, I have also been playing Mass Effect 2 right now. And actually, we were just talking about before we started recording that I am actually just about to kind of get into the point of no return in Mass Effect 2. So I've been taking a lot of time, and I literally have almost 100%. I got all of my squad loyal to me. I've done all of the side missions, so I'm really pumped about start that part of the game. Excited for that.
Chance, go ahead. What were you playing though, for real? Besides Mass Effect,
It's been a real busy
speak
week.
up a little too.
It's been a real busy week in the bubble out here, and the only other thing I even had time for was Darkest Dungeon, which I was playing on my phone. Now that is a game that you can play on the streaming on the cloud just fine, just perfect. I mean, and I have even moderate nat out here, and it's been working just fine.
Oh, we all have moderate nat.
If you haven't played Darkest Dungeon, again, highly recommend it. I'd pay money for it. I don't have to because I have Game Pass like a baller, and so it was free. I downloaded it immediately as soon as it became available because it was a top 5 Switch game for me. I believe it was my number 1 most played in terms of hours, but
Yeah, it was.
because Nintendo is not the greatest, I can't check how many hours I played unless I check it from the Switch console itself, which I no longer have. Their online platform doesn't allow me to check, but I am confident Darkest Dungeon was the top of that. And
Yeah, I remember you playing that a lot.
It was
Did
great.
you sell your Switch too?
yeah,
Yeah,
sold the
Switch
Switch for a
Series S, like
headboard.
me.
No, a headboard for our bed. Very adult
Oh.
decision.
Yeah, good for you. Smart decision. So I have been playing, like I said, finished Mass Effect, and I actually, Chance, you'll be surprised, I went back to Control. I'm doing the DLC. I'm doing the Foundation. That's the first one that launched. And basically it's about the foundation of the oldest house and how it's like breaking down. Still have no idea what's going on. But it is fun. The game is just, the combat is fun. It keeps bringing me back, and the graphics are beautiful. But like I said, I don't know what's going on, and it can be a little confusing. It's very like multiple level oriented in this area, so it's fun. I'm having fun with it. And then Jose and we've also dropped in the Warzone a few times, so that's what I've been playing. After I beat the DLCs, I think, Chance, I might play Final Fantasy 12. I've never played it. I've got a weird itch. I don't know. I don't want to jinx it. No, wait, I take that back. No, I'm going to go straight to Sea of Thieves. I take that back. I might play Sea of Thieves tonight. So I need to do that. I need to do the Pirate's Life. I'm super excited to play that. But after that, maybe I might do Final Fantasy 12. But then I start to look up how long to beat for these games. And I think I was talking to Jose about this the other night. And I'm just like, I don't know if I could do it. It's bad. That's like ruining whether or not I want to play a game. But why don't we move on to Chance? I'd like to hear your quick review of Maneater. Let's hear it. Remember, official XRT scale, pros, cons, short, and just to the point. Let's go.
Yeah, pros were it was hilarious. There's a commentator that it's set up almost like a documentary, and you're the shark that grows and stuff, and he gives you all these different facts about sharks, and then he gives you facts that aren't really facts that are hilarious. And there's all these little Easter eggs all over the place. I just loved it. It was 9 hours. It was fun. It was simple. It was new. It was different. One of those little facts that I never forget because I have family, now my extended family from my wife's side who lives in Wisconsin and enjoys ice fishing. There was one, he's like, you found this little Easter egg, or it was a collectible about an ice fisher, and he's like, ice fishing, it's like regular fishing except colder, and only people in the upper Midwest enjoy it. And like that was one of probably 1,000 different little drops like that he has throughout the whole thing. So just really, really well done. I would have paid money for it. I didn't have to because it was free on Game Pass. And it also made me realize it's like the money thing isn't even a thing for us anymore. I think Chipotle has brought that up quite a few times. Like we're all at points in our lives where it's not even about the money, it's about the time. And so in terms of the time investment, it was an absolute gem. 9 hours, absolutely 100%. It was great to invest 9 hours in that game. I'd do it again. Chipotle?
Two things. I know you mentioned early on when you were starting it that you kind of were playing with Cora and then you moved away from it. By the end, you said definitely not for like little kids to be around.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, you could let them just pick it up and swim around, probably. Past that, it's probably not. And if they stayed in the water, but as soon as you like submerge from the water, and it's all people that you're hunting, and probably not for them yet.
Awesome. And then second question is, of all the great shark movies in history, which one does it most closely follow? Your thoughts?
Ooh, gosh, Deep Blue Sea is one of the all time greats, and I mean, Sam Jackson getting chopped in half the way he did. That's all I could think of when I was playing it. Right?
That was the one I was hoping you were going to say. I love it. I love
Ate me. A shark ate me. Yeah. So,
In conclusion, what would you give it?
7.
You didn't tell me.
In a really 7, if not 8. Like, and that is
Really?
not disparaging at all in any way. I don't think a game like that necessarily can reach a 9 or a 10 because, again, to me, a 9 or a 10 means that I can play it over and over and over and over, and I could pick it up 5 years from now, and we could all play together. And there needs to be that social or longevity aspect to it. I might go back and play it again if something happened or they had some DLC, but I won't. But it was excellent for what it was. So.
Very nice. Thank you for that quick review on Maneater, brought to you by Bubble Boy and 7. I'm going to go into my review. This is the greatest game I've ever played in my life. It is number 1 on my all-time games list now. I can officially say that now, right, Chance? Because it is one complete package, thankfully. So Mass Effect Legendary Edition is my number 1 game of all time. It is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, officially. It was before, but this is now number 1 all-time video games ever. Pros: legendary story and characters. I meant the pun right there, guys. Amazing choice and progression of story through 3 games. Combat gets better and better every game. Love that you can create my shepherd and his actions throughout the story. You have a choice. The moments with your crew stand out to me the most, your team. And that's what I found really matter about this game. It's not necessarily all the other big action moments. It was just those small, even randomly walking in on Garrus kissing Tally while he's calibrating down there. Like just little moments like that. Incredible. Like just the way Shepard talks to them. They did such a great job. And that's what my final point of the pros are. I get to choose my fate, unlike other games. And I think that's why I kind of had a problem with The Last of Us. I think I played The Last of Us right after Mass Effect, and the ending to that bugged me so much. And that's probably why, because I didn't have a say in what was going to happen at the end. And Mass Effect does a really good job. You really don't have that big of a choice. Like the story is kind of guided regardless, but you feel like you have a choice in what Shepard's doing. And the conversations you hear are different between the Renegade and Paragon. And I just love that it just gives you that choice. And again, 10 out of 10. The only con I have is Mass Effect 1 is a little dated, but even then, like, I don't even think that's a real con. I'd like to hear what you guys think about Mass Effect overall and your thoughts on it. As what would you give it and for ratings as well?
I would absolutely agree with the 10, and I'm not even done it. I played obviously the first 3 when they came out originally on 360 and stuff. But I will say one interesting point playing it now is when I was playing it before, I had not played it since the beginning, and I started playing 1 and 2 because 3 was coming out and our whole friend group was getting ready to play it. And so I kind of burned through 1 and 2. And I definitely did not take all the time that I should have. And now that I've played it and I kind of know where it's going, I've really, like I said, taken the time into, and it is amazing truly that it's worth the time to go through the extra efforts of like going everywhere and talking to people and making the right choices. I think you hit really the nail on the head, Diwali, with the character development is absolutely incredible. And what I think is really cool about it is that every story is completely different, all the characters, and the tasks are also different. I mean, granted, at the end of the day, most of the tasks are like go to a place and kill people and finish it up.
Help about.
But the story is so different every time. It's not like this guy was mean to me, let's go beat him up. It's like literally these very different worlds and cultures even, and it's just so well done. I would say one con is definitely just the running. I just laugh every time I watch them run. Like they remind me of like the Hunchback running to the bell tower. But other than that, it's really great. And I have to give it credit too, especially because of the facial expressions. Like I know there's a lot of memes out there, well deserved, many of them about the facial expressions, but this was honestly one of the first games to really try to do that in a meaningful way.
For its time.
And was incredible for
Absolutely.
its time. And so I definitely give it, awesome. One question I have for you too, and then I'll pass it to Bubble Boy, because I don't know genuinely, the Renegade run versus the Paragon run, is there actually that many different outcomes in the end? Or does it end basically in the same place? I just honestly don't know without too many spoilers.
It ends in the same place, but there are people who will absolutely, I can't tell you. Like you'll have completely different people is what I'll say.
Okay.
And I'm glad you asked that, because I was going to jump in with like, wait, we're good on spoilers, right? I can spoil this.
You absolutely cannot spoil this.
Which is great. And I would say that I was perfectly pleased with the ending. And I know, D-Wally, you and I were probably the only two people on the planet who played it through within that first week and were like, I was satisfied, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else was so mad, and the whole color thing, right?
Still.
And I was like, you could not have wrapped up a series that big and that long as well as they did. It won't be done ever again, I don't think, the way they did. And I loved it. And Jose, for you and Dan, maybe you caught this, because I was trying to pop that Chivo of beating it 3 times. I went and I actually did all 4 of the options, and they are very different. I know people just say it's color, but they're not. They are very different. They have different stories at the end. There's a couple of things that are recycled throughout, but they're extremely different. And if you take the time to invest in the story and think about it and use your brain and be like, wow, what would it be like if I really chose that one? You'll have days and days worth of conversation. And so we could easily spend an hour and a half as soon as Chipotle is done, and it won't be a spoiler free one. And I'd love to do that, because there's some really, really cool, not even like existential, but like real life, topics to discuss based off of the choice that you make.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up, because at the end, I traditionally go one way where you see somebody breathing, and I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I was really thinking about it this time. You're right, Chance. And actually, the first time I did it, I went with the middle one. Believe it or not, my instinct was to do that. But then when I found out the other one, I was like, well, I got to do it. But it does make you think. I would love to do a spoiler cast. We should just do one all about Mass Effect. So maybe we should do that. We all agree it's a 10 out of 10. Chance, I'm sure it's probably on the top of his list or close to the top of his games of all time. So
it will be as soon as they give me those last 2 achievements that I earned.
You might just have
you better call BioWare up and tell them that they need to do that.
Yeah, well, I thought
they'll apply more patches.
Old Philly Spencer.
Fan of the show.
So one last thing, and then we'll move on. If for someone listening who has either never played Mass Effect or is planning on playing it but is only going to play it one time through, what is the option you would recommend the most, that you enjoyed the most? You talk Paragon, Renegade, something else in between. Like what would you recommend to the people out there?
Let me go first, Chance. I think Renegade probably has more entertaining actions, but I feel like I tend to play the good guy. And it's up to you personally, like how you would handle a situation. Some people like to, ride the middle, but I'm generally always a Paragon. That's how I envision my Shepherd. But that's the beauty of it. You get to choose. Like I have I can't say anything else. What about you, Chance?
It's a fantastic question, Chipo. Absolutely love it. D-Wally's right. It gives a little bit more of a fun story it's just comical when you do some of the Renegade choices, but because there were no specific achievements, or they were really easy to get, I can't remember with it, what I recommend is take it moment by moment. There's some situations where it's absolutely appropriate to be a Renegade and it makes a ton of sense, and there's other times where I was like, oh no, I have to pick Renegade because that's my path, but even in this virtual world that is meaningless, I feel uncomfortable choosing this path, right? And I would
completely agree.
Sorry, I think that's true to real life, right? Like we're all dads, and think about the first time you had to really scold your child, right? You were like, ugh. That felt heartbreaking, but it was the right
now I
thing
don't
to
feel bad.
do. And okay,
Oh my
D-Wall
God.
didn't at all, but
Heartless.
or at your job or with or anything, right? Like it's like no, there's a time you need to be really firm, and there's a time you can put your kid gloves on and go into it with compassion and the Ted Lasso
Yep.
route. So
No, actually, you know what I would recommend, Jose, is play both. Absolutely, do two run playthroughs. You have to. I would not. I don't know how you could play one and not wonder about the other side of it. So for you, Jose, I'm guessing you're
Yeah,
a
dude, I'm
Paragon,
almost maxed
so
out Paragon. Like I'm literally almost maxed out.
Oh yeah, you got it. It's worth seeing it. If you don't want to play
Yeah,
it, you can just
yeah.
YouTube. Maybe I'm sure there's a YouTube video that shows like best Renegade moments throughout the whole. I'm sure somebody's done that. That's what I would recommend for sure. So let's move on. Thank you for the thoughts. We definitely need to do. I agree. A Mass Effect, just complete spoiler review and discussion. Let's go to reader mail, you guys. This comes from our old friend Jbizzle. Shout out to Jbizzle. He's a big fan of the show. We were playing with him last night. He was very disappointed that I didn't mention him on the air. So again, this is a reader mail from Jbizzle out in North Carolina. Jbizzle, fan of the show.
King of the
He
dance
writes
moves, just so you know.
Jbiz can dance? Yeah, he's a musician dancer.
He looks like he can just move like a jellyfish. Rhythm doesn't mean nothing to him. It's awesome.
Hey, Daddy Diwali. He wrote by the way, you can write into us at any time at xboxrecordthis@gmail.com, and that's exactly what Jbizzle did. Hey, Daddy Diwali. Have caught every episode of your podcast so far. Jose Chipotle was a fantastic addition to the show. N7 endorsement, meh. I'd like to officially submit my application to replace him as assistant to the co-host. I don't have a microphone, but my 9-year-old daughter's gaming headset would probably be better than whatever Chance used in episode 4. Also, you and Chapeau are looking trim, but I recommend he mute his video when you record on YouTube. Unfortunately, Endorsement has a face made for radio. Just kidding, Shady. I enjoy your takes as well and think a trio has been good for the show. Well, thanks for that, Jbizzle. Appreciate the feedback. He's got 2 questions here, you guys. Number 1, what was the most surprising reveal for you from E3? And number 2, what is one thing you're bummed didn't get announced at E3? So why don't we just throw it over to Bubble Boy right away, since, Jbizzle has some not so kind words. Oh, Bubble Boy looks pissed, Jbizzle. If you're listening on the podcast, let's show it. What would you like to say to that, Chance?
I'm thrilled that I am still in Jbizz's heart and soul, right? Like, absolutely elite human being there. Glad he's listening, so I will take it all gladly from Jbiz. This might sound really strange, but the most surprising thing to me, because I had no idea that it was coming, was probably that party animals, right? That was truly like as far as I know, no sort of like hints or secrets or anything, right? No, I don't think any of us knew that was coming. So,
Jose, what about you? What was your most surprising reveal?
So it's kind of a dual one. The one that caught me the most off guard, but I was really thrilled about, was that Halo multiplayer would be free. And it makes sense, right, in the world of war zones and PUBGs and that's really the smart move for them to do as a tactician standpoint. But I was just surprised to hear it, because I think it will also just ultimately bring in so many people that have never played it before to just play, because it's the multiplayer. I mean, the story's great. Love Master Chief, love Cortana, everybody, but it's just the multiplayer is what makes Halo what it is, right? That's where a lot of our memories come from. And it's cool to just think that people will just be able to jump in and play in this big community, get on games at all times. So that was a surprise to me. The other one, kind of in conjunction, but not necessarily related, was just how invested Xbox was in Games Pass. And I know we've beat that to a pulp on this podcast, but it was pretty spectacular that like they were like, this is free. This is free. This is free. And like AAA title after AAA title, and then also indie games and small studios. And just, it really surprised me when they really leaned into, this is such a good value. This is why you want to be on Xbox. And so that was surprising, but in a great way. As kind of a bonus one, I would also throw in the Metroid Dread. I just wasn't expecting a Metroid game from Nintendo. Like, they just seemed so far away from that. So that was a cool addition. But really, it was the Halo and the Games Pass thing for me. What about you, Duali?
The biggest shock for me was definitely the Top Gun. Like as soon as I heard that music, I was like, "Oh my gosh, they have Top Gun in Flight Simulator. That is amazing." Just because I've been wanting to see this movie for years now, thanks COVID, but didn't see that coming at all. And I guess I should have. That makes perfect sense. So that was really cool. But I would say game wise, the thing that really surprised me that I can't wait to play the more I think about it, I think I need to raise this up, is that Somerville game. And I did some more research. It's one of the guys who was from Play Dead Games, who made Limbo and Inside, left and has his own studio now. And so he's basically one of the guys who made some of my favorite platformers. So the more I read about it, the more I can't wait to play Somerville. It's exactly what I love, those short, 5 to 6 hour platformers. And I'm trying to find something like that on Game Pass, and maybe I'll find something there. But what about Chance? Was there anything that you were bummed that didn't get announced at E3?
It's hard to say bummed. I mean, I walked away from that, like all of us, just so blown away and so excited for moving forward. And it's really easy to say Elder Scrolls 6, right? But again, I think we've also beat this to a dead horse. That's not right. We'll edit that, right?
No.
That I'd rather them wait and make it great, and I trust they will, and they're not in a hurry, and I'm not in a hurry, and so, but it is, I mean, I would have loved to see it.
Yeah. What about you, Jose? Anything that disappointed you?
Oh, no, absolutely nothing that disappointed me. I mean, things that I was kind of hoping for that didn't happen was definitely the Dead Space thing, but I got my wish like a week later with the 343, or I'm sorry, not 343, EA stuff next month. But the other thing that I kind of was secretly hoping that we would just, even a teaser, and I know we talked about it last episode, how we don't love to hear a game and then about a new game and then don't get it for a year or 2 years. Like they need to shorten that time in between announcing and releasing. But I would have loved to see a teaser for Fallout 5. I know they gave us obviously the pit, right? The expansion for 76. And so we got some content for Fallout, but I am just really excited for Fallout, a true Fallout on the next gen system. And so I would have loved to see a little bit of teaser for 5, but it's okay. I can wait. And obviously I want them to do what's right. I also was honestly surprised that they didn't do the Switch Pro. I really thought that was coming. And I'm just curious to see if they're going to do that or not. Maybe they're not. And if they are, if it's really trying to contend with these like next gen specs, or they're really just going to do their own thing the whole time. So that was the only thing I was just a little surprised about. You?
Yeah, no, I would agree with you guys. I was not disappointed at all with you. I thought they killed it. I don't know what they could have done better. Yes, it would have been nice to see more Elder Scrolls. And I actually kind of agree with you, Jose. I would love a new Fallout game, but I'm not sure where that would be in their plans, to be honest. Maybe they're just going to do Fallout 76 for a long time. I don't know. I would love for the Fallout 5 to come out, but that might be a long time away. But I think they absolutely killed it. So no, Jbiz, I really don't have anything that I was bummed about at all. And just in closing, Jbiz said, "Love your show. Keep up the good work. I would love to be a guest on the show someday. We can talk about Outriders and Remnant from the Ashes." So Jbiz, thank you for writing in. We really do appreciate it, brother. And you're always welcome on XRT, but you got to get a better mic, at least one that's better than Bubble Boys. Before we move into the news, you guys, I forgot to show off my new merch here. Can you guys see this for the camera here? Repping that Xbox merch. For all you audio listeners, you need to check out the video. I got that new 20-year Xbox anniversary shirt. It's pretty sweet. I also ordered a Halo Needler shirt, which I'm pretty pumped about, and an Xbox one of the Pride ones, because it's got like all the rainbow colors, but it really just looks sick. So I got that in white. So I got a couple more shirts coming in, boys. I definitely think you guys should check out the Xbox merch store if you haven't already. I recommend it. So let us move into the news, you guys. It's kind of a light week, and I kind of like this because I want to get some of your input on some other ideas I have here. But let's jump to the first one. I just want to cover a little bit about what is coming to Game Pass in June. And so as of this recording, it is June 27th, 2021. And the Pirate's Life for Sea of Thieves was just added last week. Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. I'm wondering if Chance is going to try that. also came to Game Pass on the 22nd. Worms Rumble, June 23rd. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. I was actually thinking about this one, June 24th. It was added. And then Grounded got its DLC, the Shroom and Doom update. That will be on the 30th. Then we have Bug Fables, The Everlasting Sapling, July 1st. Gang Beasts, July 1st, 2021. I know I've heard of Gang Beasts, but Chance, I'm wondering if you know anything about that. And then Immortals Realms, Vampire Wars, July 1st. Limbo, Jose, if you have not played Limbo, July 1st, 2021. Space Jam, A New Legacy. It will come early. I think it's a free-to-play game, but it comes July 1st to Game Pass members first. And then Flight Simulator will be July 27th. So those are the games coming to Game Pass in June and July. Do any of those interest you guys? Are you going to check out any of those? Jose, what about you?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm in. Here's the problem, though. I need to finish Mass Effect. I want to play Cyberpunk.
Dang you, Cyber! I say you wait.
But when am I going to wait?
Just
That's the
that
problem. I need to just commit games that I would be interested in playing. For the record, believe it or not, I really want to try Space Jam with my daughter. That seems like a cool game. I also like the story that like they polled the fans and said like, what do you want the game to look like? And people submitted ideas. And
I think
that's super cool.
Right, the two
Obviously,
winners.
it goes with the movie that comes out on like July 9th or 16th. So I definitely want to check that out. I mean, I would love to try Grounded sometime. I think it's a cool idea. And Need for Speed, I might try too. Obviously, Sea of Thieves. Other than that, probably not. I mean, I love all of it, but just I gotta be picky here. So probably those.
I know.
I mean, and just a fun fact: Chance and I used to love Worms. That was like a huge game of our childhood.
I know it was. No, I remember that too.
And I love that they're keeping it around. It just doesn't have the same allure that it did when we were younger, and some of that is because of our limited options, obviously and truly. But it's just again, I got to commit to certain things, so I can't do that. But yeah, probably things I'll definitely play: Sea of Thieves. I'll play Space Jam. I do want to try this Flight Simulator at least a little bit, but I won't get super into that. And maybe those other ones if you guys are playing them, but we'll see. How about you, Bubble Boy? What do you think?
The Sea of Thieves for sure. Like that was at the top of my list from the, and probably could have been one of those surprise ones that I was like, oh, it's too good not to happen, right? Like I said, I've been already playing Darkest Dungeon. That one's on there, and I recommend to anybody that it's something that you can pick up and you could play for 5 minutes, or you could pick up and play for 5 hours. No different, and it always kind of keeps you wanting to come back for more. That Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, I'm pretty interested in, and the trailer was fantastic. Did anybody else? I see.
No, but is this
go ahead.
Is this the one that was on PlayStation 1 like way long time ago? Because that was my favorite one. I remember playing that with Jason Can all the time.
And we didn't get into it, but I had done my list of top 5 games for every console. And I know I shared some consoles, but I didn't share that one. And Need for Speed Hot Pursuit was one of those definitely that we missed. So I'm curious, and like I said, the trailer was hilarious and really cool. If you haven't seen the trailer that's on the Game Pass store, watch it because it's funny. And yeah, it was like, no, this really is. It's a remastered from the original. So
nice. Yeah, so I would agree. I want to play Sea of Thieves. I've heard nothing but good things, and I have heard that it's more campaign oriented, and you can play solo or with people. So I can't wait. So that's good to know. And I definitely want to try. Jose's right. The time. I want to try Need for Speed, but I don't know. But I'm definitely going to try Flight Simulator. So Jose, I would love to hear a review on Space Jam when you play that. And Chance, if you play any others, please let me know. Let's move on to the next.
Sorry, because Flight Simulator is a given for me. I mean, that one that will be happening.
Me too. Let's move on to this next one. And I don't know how much you've played the Master Chief Collection, but I guess I'll ask after I share this story right here. So basically, 343 on Halo Infinite's 3-month battle pass or seasons, and actually it's a permanent battle pass. So we want players having fun in Halo, not grind it like it's a job. So basically, guys, I don't know if you've heard or read about it, but the battle pass, obviously it's going to be, they just said, about 3 months long. But what's cool is that even though when the season ends, you can still go back and unlock things from that pass. And I really love this. And I've actually seen this in the Master Chief Collection because I've actually played Master Chief Collection multiplayer. I still go back and play it probably a few times a month just for fun. And I unlock stuff. Well, I was unlocking stuff doing the campaigns because I wanted to play all 4 or 5 campaigns before Infinite came out last year. And they started the Battle Pass back then. And I remember the first season came out and there was some really cool stuff. And I basically unlocked everything. But then Reach was the second season. And I really wanted the skull, Emil's helmet. And I didn't get to it. And I was all mad. And then the next season started. But I looked back and I'm like, wait a second. You can still unlock stuff there. So they just keep adding the battle passes to previous battle passes, and you can use your like in-game experience and tokens that you earn to unlock stuff from previous seasons if you don't want to start unlocking the next one, or you can go back to you can pick and choose it basically. I think this is so smart for their battle passes because I hate in Call of Duty Warzone where I'm just rushing there at the end being like, oh gosh, I got to get to 100. I got to get to 100. I'm not going to be able to unlock this cool skin. And Halo is basically saying, we're not going to do it like that. Let's go back. You can go back and do it whenever you want. I think this is so smart. So, Chapo, I know you have more experience than I don't think Bubble Boy has any experience with the Battle Pass in any game. So, Jose, what do you think about the fact that you can go back and unlock any previous Battle Pass items at any time, basically?
So I'll be honest with you. I'm a little torn. I think when I first was reading that, I was fully like, well, hang on. I was fully like, this is great. Because I felt the same way. I've done that same thing that you have where like buy the battle pass and you get to level like 68, 75. And then you're like, oh God, I got 4 days left. And even though they honestly do a good job of like double XP and triple XP days
you have
and
to play
XP
a lot.
times.
Well, let me interrupt you right there. They sometimes, I feel like they've scaled back on the experience on Call of Duty. I remember it was pretty easy to get 200 if you're playing like, you know, for an hour or two every night. But now I feel like you really got to put in time, even with the double XP. But sorry, continue. Go on.
No. So I really appreciate the idea that they're going with to say like, look, we don't, and I agree with them. We don't want people grinding like it's their job, because that's the other part. Like if you have a job or family, you just realistic, you're never going to get there. Right. And so it becomes less appealing. And especially with, and this is my opinion here, especially when it regards to things that make the game easier if you get them. So if you get a really awesome weapon at level 90, but I can never get even close, that makes the game less fun, because then you just get pwned by people and it's just like, it creates this imbalance. So I really like that feature. However, the flip side of this though is, when there is something that is hard to get and then you see someone who's gotten it, I do give them a shred of respect. And so to some degree, like something that's just a skin or something that's just like an emblem or something like that, I don't have a problem with them making it really hard to get and putting it at the end of a pass, because it doesn't affect gameplay. And like, I'm never going to get that. Who cares kind of thing. I mean, I think ultimately my favorite system is just just make everything really cheap. And I'll just buy exactly the thing that I want, and I'll be perfectly happy and move forward. Like, I like that system, I think, the best. But I applaud them for this, knowing that we're going to put an incredible amount of time into Halo come this fall, or I guess into the winter and stuff. I'm actually really excited for this piece of it. But I think it's smart. And I think, again, it's increasing the accessibility, because that's another piece of this that we never have really talked about. Microsoft has done an incredible job with making games accessible, not just physically, but mentally, for all ages and stuff like that, compared to like other games and other systems. And I think it's like someone who has literally a physical handicap, who like, I can't sit down and grind for 6 hours at a time, they're never going to get through a battle pass. I think it's really cool that this provides that opportunity finally, assuming they want to. Maybe they don't, but I think that's a really cool aspect as well. And so ultimately, I applaud this, and I think this is the right move. Even though, like I said, I respect people that have gotten to level 100. I did that one time, I think, in season 3, because I got the rose skin. But other than that, like, I think this is a cool thing.
That's a really good point. I didn't think about that, like the accessibility part. So that is a great point, Jose. And yes, and now your rose skin has been nerfed, so you can't even brag about that anymore. Chance, do you have any thoughts on battle passes and being able to go back and earn stuff? I'm interested, because you're going to be new to this, right? You've really just kind of purchased.
I played Warzone last summer for a little bit with you all. And I remember I had talked a little while ago about I was really excited to get that little Guinness pint for my gun, the little keychain for that. I appreciate anything that makes a game fun for people, right? And so to make it less of a chore, I think that's great. But I also I can appreciate. And
Well
I don't
said.
want
Well
it to
said.
be like, well, here's everything for everybody all at once. Like I totally agree with Chipotle. Like there is some prestige to that, right? And you will forever be able to talk shit to me till the day we die about having the first. And it's not 1,000. What is it? 2,915 out of 2,009.
Yeah, 29 something stupid. They couldn't make it 3,000. Like, come on, EA.
It is on the PlayStation. So anyway,
Dude, PlayStation, you get three separate platinums for every game. And then those other ones are extra trophies that don't even really matter technically. About percent. That's just for anyway.
Yeah, and so that is cool to me. And that does make it more fun. Like I should not have spent 45 minutes before sitting down here to try and get those to pop, but I did. And the only reason I did it was to, grind on D Wally's gears a little bit and be able to, because Chipotle's right. Yeah, we will be the only two, but I already lost. I'm just not willing to be a complete loser. So
So you did get all the achievements? You figured it out.
That's a big negative.
Ooh, we got to figure this out.
I did it. I absolutely did it.
No, I know you did. And I was concerned, Chance. I'm not even kidding, because it took me a while to get my Paramore too. And I remember thinking, I'm like, if I didn't go, I had to go out of my way, Chance, to go figure it and get it to work. And I was so relieved when my Paramore 3 hit, when I visited Jack again randomly at the club on the Citadel. I was like, thank God I don't have to worry about that. And then I was just worried about beating it with the same character. But I feel your pain, man. Like I did work too. Trust me, to get my Paramore too. So don't think like
I know.
I worked. But anyway, achievement child. I know nobody cares about achievements, and I need to go back to that question, Jose. We got to do it when Chance is here. We'll do that next week since it's not on the agenda today.
But I do want to ask, because it makes me think. The one and only, that achievement, the one and only where you had to beat the Spectre level. Crew.
I did it on normal.
Okay, I was curious, and I sadly
I switched to it right at the end. Do you know how hard they were? I tried it legitimately normally, and I was getting blown away. And my guy was good too.
I could get through 1 and 2. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get through.
Yeah, and I remember getting that on the 362, and I think you had to it had to be on Insanity at one point. So I don't know how I did that back then, but yeah, no, I did it.
So anybody who wants to write in and say they got that one, I'll be more impressed with getting that.
Yeah, with that than beating on Insanity.
Than anything else.
I agree. So speaking of Mass Effect, perfect segue, you guys. I want to close off. Well, actually, this is not going to close off the news, but it's one of the news stories recently that there's been a lot of talk following Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Fans are reappraising Mass Effect Andromeda. And this is from Wesley Yinpool over at Eurogamer. And basically, people are kind of going back and playing Andromeda again and maybe giving it a little bit more respect now that they've played the Legendary Edition. And I just wanted to get your thoughts, you guys. After playing the Legendary Edition, do you think, one, will you go back and play Andromeda, or do you have any desire to? Or two, do you think maybe we were a little harsh on it? Are there things that Andromeda does better than the Legendary Edition? Jose, I saw you shaking your head, so right away, let's start with you. What are you thinking, Jose?
So I was shaking my head to your question of will you play it? The answer is no. I don't have the time. If I did on an infinite timescale, I would consider playing it again. But I didn't have the hate that people had for Andromeda. I thought Andromeda was a fun game. Like I thought it was a cool story. My issue with it was that it wasn't Commander Shepard, right? Like that he is truly the keystone of that Mass Effect series, and not having him just change that dynamic. It still was a great.
The Ryder. You didn't like the Ryder twins.
I mean, they're fine. I didn't hate them. I enjoyed the game. I did a lot of extra stuff that I didn't have to do. I think it was a beautiful game. I liked there was enough Easter eggs and like hunts to keep me hooked. I was perfectly happy with the game. It just wasn't the same as the original trilogy. I mean, it's like anything like that. It's really hard to capture that true essence again. It's not unless it's a true sequel, right? I know it's a sequel timeline wise, but I'm saying it's not a true sequel in the same stories and stuff. And so,
I got a famous quote here from Mike Cito, who told me that relates. He said, this was on, my wife having our first child. He's like, Dan, when your favorite band breaks up, but then they bring back another lead singer, it's just never the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just never the same after your wife has that first kid. So I'm going to leave it at that. Chance, what are your thoughts?
That might be the worst segue we've ever had in this entire show. But yeah, and Bubble Boy, what do you think?
But do you get what he was referring to is what's never the same,
Dan, yeah, you explained your last dad joke. You don't need to explain this one too. But I will say that I can't remember the new guy, the guy that took over for Steve Perry. Fantastic, absolutely incredible. That anybody,
the Filipino guy, right? I forgot his name.
Yeah. Why can't I think of it? Yeah, clearly looks nothing like Steve Perry, but man, he can match his voice. So it's not always a downer. I highlighted the part of that article that you brought up, D. Wally, before earlier that I completely agree with, which is returning to Andromeda, now having played the Legendary Edition, I'm struck by the combat, which is fun, snappy, and responsive. While Mass Effect 3's combat certainly improved upon that of its predecessors, I think Andromeda offers Mass Effect combat at its best. And that's true.
Completely agree. Completely agree. And the customization and the different classes. You can do whatever you... Incredible. You're right.
And I'm not going to apologize for agreeing with that. I think it's true. I think if you think otherwise, you're either lying to yourself or just really, really into nostalgia. And then I will say, kind of like Chipotle, that my expectations weren't 10 out of 10 greatest game of all time, number 4. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be.
And unrealistic,
This isn't, and I do this a lot, this isn't sports. So it's not, hey, the Chiefs won last year. If they don't win this year and continue to get better, then I'm done with them forever. And they, obviously a little sad that they...
Yeah, I mean, like the Broncos, they won back-to-back, they somehow did do that, Chance, but, and then they won, about a decade later, 15 years later, so I mean...
But it's different, and I think when you go into it with those expectations, and it had to have been a new team. There was no way it was every single person doing the exact same thing, and they were all at different places in their lives, and if you wanted 1, 2, and 3 Legendary Edition, all you had to do was wait 6 more years, right? And then you're good, and you got that. So I loved it. I actually think I will, if I can. Again, it's the time, and I would love to.
I was going to ask. Special guest over here, my wife. We were just talking about you, Allie. Do you want to come say hi to on the podcast? Do you want to come say hi? Oh, love you too. All right, fan of the show.
Good night, Allie.
My wife.
Fan for now.
I was gonna say, Chance, did you ever get 1,000 on Andromeda?
I did not.
Oh, see, then you're gonna have to go back. You got to do it.
I will, yeah.
That's what's gonna drive you to do it. You're gonna be insane, and you're gonna have to go back and do it. And there are particular achievements that you have to be tricky on, like those stupid remnant puzzle things. I think is one of. And I did it recently on the last summer during the pandemic when I replayed all the games on PS4 and PS3 when I went back and got all the platinums for Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, and Andromeda. I don't remember a single thing from that game, you guys. The story, I barely remember the main characters, but I do remember the combat was incredible. How you got to use your abilities and level up was amazing. The graphics were very, very good, underrated. Multiplayer was, again, the best out of them, and I love Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, so I think there were good, like you said, Chance. I wasn't expecting a masterpiece, but I guess I was just expecting a little bit more. And maybe Jose is right that not having Shepard there did hurt it, and that's just hard to move away from such an iconic character. But
they could have done more.
I wouldn't go back and play it again. I'll be honest.
Had they done like a prequel with Morden, I'd have been okay with that.
Or no, with Garrus and like the First Contact War or something.
I had called that one long ago.
So I think it's worth playing, Chance. I think for you to get 1,000 out of 1,000, I definitely think you should do it and do maybe more Renegade actions. But actually, they didn't really have Renegade Paragon. It was that weird, like, pick your emotion or whatever it was. So, but it was rough. Some of those side quests, oh my gosh, the fetch quest, the quest structure was terrible in Mass Effect Andromeda. That was its biggest weakness. So, again, maybe we need to put this into our spoiler cast of Mass Effect as a franchise. Let's move into the last story. And I don't think I didn't, this is new. So I didn't include this on our notes. So I want you just to listen to this, guys. And I have a question for you. So this is coming from Daniel Ahmad over on Twitter. This week's Steam, this is Steam sales, top sellers, week ending June 27th. Number one, this is the best selling games on all of Steam. Okay. Number one, Sea of Thieves. Number two, Sekiro. Number three, Horizon Zero Dawn. Number four, Forza Horizon 4 Standard. Number five, Halo Master Chief Collection. Number six, Valve Index VR Kit. Number seven, PUBG. Number eight, Rust. Number nine, Forza Horizon 4 Ultimate Edition. And number 10, It Takes Two. I wanted to bring this up. Chance, what did you notice? What are you going to say?
It's anybody that could ever even consider hating on Horizon 4. It just shows you've never played the game, and here's all the proof right here. Right, it's on there twice. That's incredible.
Okay,
it's incredible.
But did you guys see a theme
Xbox.
of four of the games?
Xbox
Correct.
exclusives.
Not only Xbox games, but what else about the Xbox?
All their
exclusive?
sequels are coming
First
out soon.
Party.
No, these four games are on what service?
Games Pass?
Game Pass. 4 of the top 10 selling games on Steam are free on Game Pass, but also the 4 top selling games for the week. So this is an argument that totally debunks that Game Pass hurts developers or hurts sales. We just saw this week that 4 games from Xbox that are free on Game Pass were top 10 sellers.
I did not think of it.
Jose, what do you think? What does that say to you about people are like, oh, well, you don't ever own them. Game Pass is bad because you don't ever own it, or it's going to hurt developers because it's free. And this just shows that it doesn't hurt sales of games at all. When you can access these games for $1 if you wanted to, or for $10 for the month. What do you think, Jose?
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, to be fair, I don't think any of the three of us ever disagreed with you when you
No, I
made
know.
this point
I mean,
earlier.
this is like an internet argument, you know.
I know. I totally agree. I mean, I think it also harkens to what we talked about last week with what is it like when Microsoft owns a studio and we trying to avoid crunch, right? They say like, don't worry about the crunch. We'll fund you. Like, make the game great. Like, I think this also speaks to it. I'll be honest with you. Like I said before, I think this specific metric from this tweet and stuff is related to E3, right? So this is the fallout of
absolutely.
E3. People saying like, oh, Halo Infinite's coming out. I want to play the Master Chief Collection. Forza 5's coming out. I want to play 4. Like they're clear correlations, right? Sea of Thieves has new content.
True.
I'm going to buy
But
Sea of
they're
Thieves.
paying for the games.
You're right. So
on sale
I agree that
versus
your argument is correct, right? That this is proof that despite it being free and despite Microsoft kind of gobbling up certain studios and stuff, that it's still a great deal for these games and for these studios. I fully 100% agree with you, 100%. Bubble Boy, what do you think?
I just hadn't looked at it that way, and I'm glad you pointed that out and asked the way you did, D-Wally, because I was just excited to see all the Xbox, but it's true. It's right there in the proof that. And sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and another thing, I don't know if you've also been seeing this on Twitter. Destin Legary from IGN and Podcast and Luck had this tweet like, there's this crazy notion that people are paying me to talk about how good Xbox Game Pass is, and he's like, but that's not as crazy as the fact that you can enjoy hundreds of games day one on Game Pass for $9.99 a month, or $1 for your first month if you sign up right now. And he even made a video, and I said I should send it to you guys to watch, talking about how people, first of all, I think it's crazy that people are ragging on him for talking about how great Game Pass is and that he's getting paid for it, or the fact that maybe we just enjoy it because, like Jose said, it's an incredible value and we like it and we love it. And he made a good comparison. It's like, how did you tell people about Netflix when that first started to go digital versus having the disc sent to you all the time? Like, you just talked about how awesome it was and like, oh, I can just stream it. Why would I rent it? And that's the same thing. Like, it's just a different change. And I don't know. I just thought you should really. Game Pass has been trending all day today because of these jokes. Like you'll see in YouTube comments, like it's not as crazy as Game Pass being $99 for a month, and all these comments about how great of a deal it is. So, Chance, sorry, go ahead.
I thought that's related to us. We've been saying this for literally 2 months now. How great Game Pass is. It's really.
It is true, and we have
to
8 weeks of recording.
We are part of that bump. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And great. Let them hate. I don't have time. I don't care. Like you're clearly just missing out. And if it's coming from a place of like, I really wish I could afford it. I spent all my money on this PlayStation ecosystem, and like they crushed it the last time, and I just can't. And rather than admit that I can't have what I want,
I'm gonna cock on it.
Sorry.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you can edit that.
I just want to say I think Game Pass is a great service. The value is there, and this doesn't hurt sales because people are still buying games. And there are some people who still buy physical media for some crazy reason. Probably Jose.
Well.
And
sorry, because that made me think of this other thing too, this other part of like, it hurts developers. I guarantee you, any one of those indie developers, I just have to believe with all my heart, would rather have more people play their games and like it than sell. I just know for a fact. And maybe not when you're EA anymore and you need your $1.6 billion in MUT cards, but some of those games, they're getting recognition, they're getting likes, they're getting playtime. Like, I just know for sure that matters more.
And they're getting jobs. That's the other part. Don't forget that.
And they're getting paid. They're getting we don't know the specific amount of money. I'm sure some of them make way more with that initial payment from Microsoft to be on Game Pass than they would ever selling whatever amount of copies they would if they didn't go on Game Pass. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, even think about it as an audition, right? So like the guy that did Limbo that Dan was talking about, imagine, so he writes this game, he works for a small company, it goes decently well, and he decides, I'm going to break off and make my own game. And then Microsoft sees Limbo, appreciates the work, and says, hey, we want you to be on Games Pass, come join us. Now he's not obviously getting paid, he's getting the recognition, he builds his brand, he builds his company. Like it's a system that it can thrive, and it can rejuvenate itself, and it can replicate itself over and over. Like it's building itself to build this massive thing that's awesome and great for us too, which I can't complain about.
Yeah, and we need to enjoy the price while we can, because I'm sure it will go up. But even if it's $20 a month, I'll still pay it. So let's move on to the good old days, you guys. We've got Corty Morgs, a big fan of the show, Bubble Boy and Seven's favorite brother. Hey, XRT boys, would you guys give me your opinions on the importance of soundtracks in video games? And I would like to start off with this one. For me personally, I don't go into a game thinking like, oh, I need to hear good music. To me, when I hear a good soundtrack, that's just an added bonus to the overall experience. And some of the games that have given me the best music memories are Halo, iconic, Mass Effect. Jose, we were just rocking out to the Overlord DLC music. And that opening sequence in Mass Effect 3 with the piano, oh my gosh, Chance hits hard every time. Metroid, I've always enjoyed the ambience with that. And then Final Fantasy, as much as I'm not like a diehard Final Fantasy fan like Chance is, they have really good music that hits. Oh, and Elder Scrolls also has fantastic music as well. So for me, it's a bonus. If it's not good, I'm not necessarily let down. But if it is good, it's just something I'll go and download. Like Forza Horizon has real music in it, which is awesome, that I'll go download. So that's another bonus. But there are some games where I don't even care about the music or what's going on, and I'll listen to podcasts, and I appreciate that too, to be able to just zone out, play, and not have to listen to the game music or listen to the characters talking and be able to do two things at once. So, Jose, what do you think about the importance of soundtracks in video games?
So I think we're talking about two different things here. The importance of sound in video games is incredibly important, right? To be able to create an ambiance, whether that's action oriented or horror oriented or just excited or fun. Like, I think that is incredibly important. And I fully agree that there are so many iconic sounds and little mini beats and chords that are familiar to us. You think about a lot of the sounds from like the early Mario games, like do 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 do, like that kind of stuff. Obviously the Halo, like the choir opening, that those are iconic things. I like them a lot. I don't think that soundtracks, the music itself, has been that important important to me. Like I would never download the music to like a Final Fantasy game and put it like on a workout mix. I know
Not a
some
true
people
gamer.
do, and Matt, and total respect. That like I'm not hating on you if you do that. That just doesn't appeal to me, and I don't have that same kind of connection to certain things. It's more just sound effects that have meant a lot to me. You make it with like your ringtone and that kind of stuff, or like I always appreciated when you meet someone like in the work, like all of us like in our professional lives, and like their phone goes off and it's like a sound from Mario, and you're immediately like, I like this guy. Like, yeah, we're going to be friends kind of thing. I like that piece of it. But like if I walked into someone's office and they were like jamming out to the music from Mega Man 6, I wouldn't be able to be like, is this Cutter Man from Mega Man 6? Like would not be able to do that. So it hasn't had that same impact for me. But again, I do appreciate sound design and that kind of stuff in games. Bubble Boy, what do you think?
Oh, you nailed it. Sound effects are of the utmost importance. Soundtrack, it depends. I think the only song I've ever downloaded was One Winged Angel. Bonus points for who can name the game and the character that refers to.
Is it Final Fantasy?
And the character.
Is it Sephiroth?
Attaboy. Yep.
God, how do I know that?
Yeah, because it's good. It's actually a pretty decent song, and such a climactic moment in the greatest game of all time.
Hey, wait! I just got to shout out Corey. I hope you're listening. See, I do have my PlayStation lore. Okay, there. Come on, give me some credit. I'm not
That's
a complete
impressive.
hater.
It is from one title that doesn't. Anyway, yeah, not a ton to add, but I think Jose nailed it.
All right, let's move on to the next question from Corty Morgs. He said, also, what are some of your most proud gamer moments? One of mine was the real Gooser Challenge in Titanfall 1. Thanks, boys. I think I remember that one, Court. If I'm not mistaken, you had to like eject. Wow, do you remember this one, Chance? Did you play Titanfall? I think it was you. Maybe you had to shoot guys who had ejected in the air or something, Court. Write in and remind me. I got the achievement too, but I do remember that. And you had to do it like 50 times or something like that. I'm pretty sure you had to shoot down. That's what it was. You had to shoot down pilots who had ejected from their Titans. So before they could land, or that's what you had to do. So, Jose, actually, Chance, let's start with you because I know you've got some good ones. What are your most proud gamer moments?
Well, I'll say I'm not proud that I never got Becomes the Master. And man, did I sink some hours into trying that. I know. And it's another one I'll give you credit for. I'm not happily give you credit for, but I think I don't know, this might sound really weird. I'm still the only one that ever beat Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
You are not the only one. Jbizzle, fan of the show, also beat it. Loves Souls games. He's like diehard. He's gone back and played all of them. He did Sekiro. Okay. Not the only one.
So it's hard for me to, well, there you go then, I guess. But like that game was straight hard. It was absolutely hard. Beating Mass Effect on Legendary or on Insanity Edition wasn't like a walk in the park, but it wasn't challenging. Like I didn't sit there for 3 days, keep coming back to the same spot. That final boss on Sekiro, I bet it took me 3 or 4 days, and I would try it however, hour at a time, 2 hours at a time.
That does not sound fun.
It was though. And maybe this is Jbiz when you come on and do the guest thing. I did enjoy it. It wasn't like a grind. It was so satisfying. I was like, I'm not going to let this guy beat me. I gave up on Becomes the Master, so I couldn't give up on that one.
Jose, do you have any proud gamer moments? You're just here to have fun. You're just happy to be here.
I mean,
right?
generally, yes, that is my mantra of playing games. But when I saw this question, and to be fair, I didn't do a lot of homework pre the show to where I probably could have really gone back to like other systems and stuff. But basically, they fall into two kind of short categories for me. One is like childhood. So like Super Mario World on Super Nintendo was the first game I ever beat by myself as a child. I was probably like 8 years old with like no guide. My parents didn't help me, and it legitimately took me months to get through Super Mario World. Like I remember as a kid, and now it's also a different time where like we didn't have Games Pass. It was the only game I had. I couldn't have money to buy one. Like I just played it over and over. But I remember beating Bowser at the castle, and like I finished, and I literally was like, I don't know what to do. Like I wanted to like scream for my mom, but it was like late at night, so I couldn't do that. And like I couldn't. I would want to call Chance and like, guess what I just did? I just beat Super Mario World. But that was a big one. In the same vein, I think about like Joe and Mac. The first time Chance and I actually got to like the final boss and beat it, because it only happened a handful of times, was just an incredible feeling, you know, doing couch co-op. And then same thing with like Ninja Turtles in Time, when we made it to Shredder, like, oh my God, because it's a nostalgia from like the Turtles and stuff. Yeah. And like we talked about the level where you're throwing the foot soldiers at the screen and stuff, like those ring true to my heart. In hindsight, they're not that big of achievements, but they meant a lot to me in childhood. And then in my adult life, I think honestly about, like Warzone, like the first time getting that win, or like chicken dinner in PUBG, like it legitimately, you want to like run
PUBG,
around like
yeah.
just doing this kind of thing because you're so excited for that win. The only other one that I remember that was super, I don't know why it sticks out of my mind, was on PlayStation 3, Resident Evil 5. There was a trophy you could get, but you had to shoot an enemy in the air and it had to be a headshot. And there was this one part of a level where these enemies, the creatures have to jump over this gap, and I sat there for an hour literally waiting and like shooting, nope, reload, and just like reset the game, and I finally did it, and like it popped, and that was just like I was so excited for that thing. But generally, no, I'm here to have fun, and like the stuff that you guys do, I'm crazy impressed by, but it's just that is not my life, playing games, grinding for the trophies and stuff. I know we'll have a conversation about that one day, but Bubble Boy, how about you?
Yeah.
Or Wally?
No, he already went. I was gonna say I like your throwbacks to beating Super Mario World, and like your first games that you beat. Yeah, those I remember beating Link to the Past on my own. That was like a pretty big. I felt like, wow, this is pretty amazing. But for recently, for me, and Chance knows, and I'm sure he would have this on there. Mile High Club, Call of Duty 4, getting 1,000, the parachute to safety. Awesome. I remember doing that for probably an hour and a half straight. And I still can envision what you have to do, and stab here, shoot here, throw flashbang here. Like I still remember all of that. Chance's laughing. Totally. Becomes the master. That's probably literally one of like my all-time number one favorite achievement. It's in Titanfall, and you have to beat a certain time on the training level. Again, insane, just like Call of Duty, where I had to do like certain slides, grenades, shotgun, wall run, jump around, double jump. Like, I don't even know how I got that one chance. And I remember, again, sitting there. What I recorded, I even made a stupid, clip on the Xbox Studio. So that would be another one. And then another recent one for me would be beating Halo 5 solo legendary. I don't know if I've ever beaten any of the games legendary by myself, and beating Halo 5, I was really proud of that one. I have 1,000 out of 1,000 for Halo 5, and that really stands out to me. And we played Halo 5 together. Like that last boss, remember that stupid boss at the end? Oh my gosh, just brutal. So those are some of my most proud gaming moments. And Chance, I think, Chance wants to add on to that, Court.
It hit me that when listening to Chipotle, I think that's what made me so satisfied with Sekiro, that went back to the days of beating a game was enough, just right there, right? Like, you think of a game you haven't beat because it was too hard anymore. That's just not a thing. There's games you haven't beat because you're like, well, this is boring, I don't care anymore. But just simply the simple act of, you beat a game, like, that's the only one I can think of in recent memory since I was playing on Chipotle's couch with him.
Well, we'll definitely have to get back into some of those old co-op memories. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love that you brought that up. Apparently, I need to play Joe and Mac. Was there an announcement for a new one or something?
I don't think so. Maybe I think it showed up in the Nintendo Nintendo store, like in Switch Online. I think it showed up in there.
Maybe that's what. Yeah, that's what it is. Maybe once I get my Switch Pro, whenever Nintendo decides to announce that, maybe I'll have to go check that. I think you're right. Joe and Mac. Apparently, I need to try it. So, good thoughts there. Thank you, Corty Morgs. I appreciate you writing in as always. Let's close the show as we always do, boys, with our favorite segment. What was the best food we had this week? I'd like to go first because mine is not, I hope, not as exciting as Jose. Oh, I know Jose has a special one. I'm going to jump to Jose right after me here. Mine's kind of boring, you guys. I had Chipotle for dinner tonight, and it was fantastic. And I know, you can never go wrong with Chipotle. So I'll tell you what my burrito standard is, and let me know what you guys think about this. I go burrito. I'm not going to do that bowl caca, this amateur hour. No. I go double chicken. And here's the key. You say, I'll have chicken. And they put the chicken, right? And after they do that, say, no, actually, I want double. You don't say double right away. You let them do their first amount so they think, oh, I'll just give them as much as I can this first through. Then you say, no, you know what? I'm going to switch it up. I want double. Then like, oh, shoot, I have to give them more, So you guys maximize the chicken. I go no beans, no rice. Yeah, it's going to get wild here. Green salsa. You say, I'll have green salsa. Let them slather it on there. Is that it? No, you know what? I want corn too. So you don't ever tell them what you want at first because they're gonna chip you, okay? And then I get the corn, green, standard, lettuce, cheese, and that's it. That's what I do. Then I get a big side
chicken and salsa and cheese.
Correct. And then I get a big thing of guac, and then again at the end I'm like, oh wait, you know what? I need corn on the side, please. Anything else, sir? Yeah, I want green on the side as well. So you get a side of green, a side of corn. You've got keep your chips at home. Just use the Tostitos bag you have at your house. You've got a great mix of salsas and guac. You can put some guac on the burrito occasionally. I don't ever put the guac in my burrito. I always have it on the side and add it as I go. So that's a rookie mistake, by the way. You never ever put the guac in your burrito. It just ruins it. So that's what I had. I also had about a full bag of Lucky Charms the other night, and I got sick, but that was delicious as well. So that's the best food I had this week. Jose, what do you think of my burrito?
Hang on.
Oh, wait. I got to set up Jose. Jose, you guys, while we were filming today, was eating his Slim Jim Sonic branded, I can't remember the name of it, but I can't wait for the review on this. The chili cheese coney Sonic Slim Jim. So we're going to get to that in a second. So Jose, before you explain how that was, I need to hear your feedback.
Wait, I'm still not, I don't think you had a burrito. I'm not convinced that it's just not a bowl of chicken and salsa. Like that's basically what you had in your burrito. And is that what you used to get on Chipotle Friday when we used to all go eat together? Is that what you would get?
No, it's evolved. It's evolved
Okay.
for sure. I don't waste my time with the beans and rice. I've never been a big fan of rice. To be honest, guys, I don't like rice at all. Like I think it's a waste. I don't like it. I don't think it's bad. I just don't like to eat it. I feel
How
like
do you
it's
feel about water?
empty. I love water. I drink a crap ton of water. So I maximize the protein and the flavors. Okay, you can knock me all you want. Try my burrito.
No, I'm not knocking you. And for the
delicious.
record, I'm all about Chipotle and you do whatever you want. It is your life.
Wait,
you live
let
it the
me
best
say,
way you can.
My old way, I'd probably get chicken, a little bit of rice, black beans, probably the same salsas, cheese, lettuce, and like sour cream or something because I was a fat ass. So that's what I would usually get. But that's like 2,000
That's
calories.
what
So I gotta. So I have to like. I'm telling you, eliminating the rice and beans and just focusing on that double chicken. It's. I'm telling you guys, with the two salsas, you gotta try it.
You know what? I'm
Anyway,
going to do that double chicken trick though. That is a pro strat right there. I really would do that the next time I go. I do got it. That's props for that one. That's like the double burner at Melting Pot. Like
I've
inside
trust me,
track.
I've practiced many times to get it right, and I'm like, this is the way I get the most chicken. Every other time, it's always they half caca it, so use it. Okay, anyway, go ahead. Best food you had, Chipo.
So, as Diwali said, I've been enjoying. I would typically never do this while I'm filming. By the way, I was like eating on the camera. I felt a little bit like not good about that, like from being a good host thing. But I did finally try this. I talked about it on one of the other shows. I will say it's pretty good. It honestly tastes mostly like a Slim Jim, but a little bit more like
That's what I was gonna say.
like the chili. It tastes like the chili from a Coney dog. I don't really get the cheese. Definitely not a bun, obviously. But it is pretty solid. If you want to pick one up, I got it at Five Below, which is it's like a dollar store that goes up to $5 instead of $1.
What is this on Federal?
No, it's by Southwest Plaza. It's literally right next to the Trader Joe's.
Five Below.
Yeah, I don't approve of the name, but the store has the best snack section I have ever seen in a store. I swear to you. I'll go and take a picture next time and send it to you guys.
Better than Walmart selection because Walmart has good.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, it's pure snack zone. Anyway, and good prices. Anyway, but the best thing I had this week was actually Philly cheesesteak from a place called Charlie's Cheesesteaks. It's actually in Southwest Plaza Mall, which for those of you who are not in Colorado, it's not the greatest mall in Colorado, but it's the closest one to me.
Bad.
But it's not bad. But
It's simple.
But the cheesesteak was phenomenal. And here's the key that I have to say. So if you don't know what a cheesesteak is, I don't know why you're listening to this show, but it's basically a hoagie with like you put mayonnaise and provolone, and then it's obviously small steak and then onions and green peppers. It's a great sandwich. But what Charlie's does was they added lettuce and pickles, which I thought was going to be like a weird addition. Like look at D. Wally's face. It was actually amazing. Like I give it a hands down. Like that was a full endorsement. Even Victoria had a chicken one and she was like, I would get this again. And she's not on board with a lot of the junk food that we eat. So it was really good. Charlie's Cheesesteaks, check it out. And I actually asked the worker, the little guy, what his favorite sandwich is. And he said it was the one with pepperoni. So same thing I just said, but you also had pepperoni. He was like, I'm actually a little addicted. I was like, next time I will be getting a pepperoni one. So, I'll let you know if that happens. But that was the best thing I ate this week.
I'll have to check that out because I actually might go to Southwest Plaza soon. Chance, what about... Oh, wait, let me add one more, you guys. I forgot about this. I got this at Costco, Jose. So this was Famous Dave's signature spicy pickle chips.
That sounds great.
See it? Oh, look at how clear that is. Very tasty. I'm not a big pickle dill guy. Did I mention this last week? I can't remember. Oh, I did. Dang it.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have a big
week,
pickle. That's definitely for sure.
With the
that's very true. But yeah, I still recommend them. I don't know if Chance I showed them to you. So they're worth it. Sweet and a little bit of spice, just how we like it. Chance, what did you have this week?
First of all, what's a mall?
Yeah, they were famous in the 80s.
Is that thing on Stranger Things?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 90s too. Come on, we all remember going to the
Villa
mall.
Italia.
Still cool.
No, we had, it's called What the Pho, which I just always crack up at. And what I always get, I still to this day have never had pho. I understand that people either love it or hate it, and I don't have an opinion because I've never had it. Because every Vietnamese restaurant I've ever been to, I get rice noodle bowls, and they're absolutely fantastic. And the reason that I know that is because we would always go to the ones around Gateway where there's so many and they're all delicious. And everybody else would always get pho. Like Shannon and Liz, that's what they would get. But now every time we go to Vietnamese around Gateway, everybody gets rice noodle bowls because I've slowly converted them over to what you really eat for Vietnamese food. And it's a standard. Wherever I go, I get the combination steak and pork fried egg roll in the bowl. So you get a little bit of shaved steak, a little bit of pork fried egg roll, and then it's the rice noodles. You put the hoisin sauce and lots of sriracha. Then each place has what usually is different is their house-made fish sauce that you dump on the top, and then it gets all soppy, and it's just wonderful. It's not the most unhealthy thing either. Like I guess the pork fried egg roll, if you took that out, it'd be okay, but I'm not taking that out.
Do you get the avocado boba? That is the pro tip if you've never had that. It's amazing.
I just licked this screen on accident because I was gagging and throwing up. That sounds horrible.
I swear to you, right? and I swear this on my children's life. Anyone out there listening, and if you don't know what boba is, it's basically a tea. But if you go to a lot of Vietnamese restaurants, they have it, or sometimes they'll just call it a shake. But an avocado shake, it's not what you think it is. Like you're picturing someone taking an avocado and blending it up and adding milk. That's what you're picturing. It is not that. It's a powder that they use. But I swear to you, it is one of the best shakes that you will ever have. And in Colorado, you can typically only get it in the summer. They only carry it in the summer at places like that. But I swear to you, it is absolutely delicious. And even if you don't like avocado, like I don't like avocado by itself. I love guac, obviously, but like don't love it like avocado chunks like my kids do. But I swear to you, it is delicious. Try it out. Trust me on it. And if I'm wrong, then you're stupid. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. Avocado
shake or boba
tea milkshake. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna stick with vanilla. Well, guys, it's time to end the show. Like we always do.
No, whoa. Controllers, sir.
Oh, let's save that for next week. I'm ready.
Okay.
We'll save it. I still need to do 9. Sorry. Do you guys have any plans for the week? Anything going on before we get out of here?
Goodness gracious, graduation on Wednesday is finally going to be done, and summer can start, and then I'll get to hopefully play a little Pirates of the Caribbean Sea of Thieves with Cora.
Jose?
That sounds awesome. That's good on for you. No, we are we have a wedding this coming weekend for a family wedding. So that'll be fun, probably a little bit stressful at times, but ultimately a lot of fun. I get the pleasure of DJing it because I have the equipment. I have not done that in like over a year and a half. So I got to actually get it out this week and plug everything and make sure it works. But we are also, my favorite thing this week we're going back to the library. We do a lot of the library during the summer because the kids love to go get books. And what I do is I go get a bunch of movies and then rip them to my Plex server so I can watch them in the off season. And my best find from last week, you'll both appreciate this. I found it.
Moto surf! Moto surf!
We were moto surfing. Surf Ninja's super happy about that. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. But other than that, just playing more Mass Effect. I'll finally get through 2, hopefully start 3. And then obviously Sea of Thieves and probably a little bit of Warzone with the boys as they come on. What about you, D. Wally? What are you doing this week?
Nothing crazy, you guys. Just gaming. Just we're gonna remove a bunch of rocks in our backyard. How exciting! Hired some people to do that because I'm not gonna do it all myself. It sucks. And then to rent out a giant dumpster is like $600. So I'm like, I'm just gonna throw that into the cost of paying somebody to do it. So. Other than that, OGB this Wednesday, guys. Hopefully, this time I'm gonna send the link out before I start playing, so you guys can check it out and see Zach Morris out there.
Yeah, please do that. Please do that.
We had one viewer. We had actually 2 unique viewers randomly turn into OGB last week, so I thought that was hilarious that somebody was watching our.
Are you going to be on America's Funniest Home Videos? Is that what you're telling us?
No, it was. I actually felt old last game. The first game I felt great. Last game we were all like. Just like, why is it so much more difficult this week? Like, it was weird. We were all just dying, but pulled out the victory, hit 2 clutch free throws for the win. So after I missed,
are you 2-0 or 1-1?
We're 2-0, and I missed the first one. You guys, I should send you the clip. I missed my free throw to put us up like 2, right? It goes off Joe, our teammate's hands. I grab it, and I'm like going down to get it with my shoulder lowered. This other guy's going for it. You can just see him just get totally decked by me, but they called the foul on him, so I got to shoot 2 more free throws, and I nailed them both that time, and we won. So I'll have to send you the clip of that after this. So that is all the plans I have for this week. So again, thank you to all of our loyal listeners out there. We really do appreciate it. We're almost at like 200 plays, you guys, so that's really exciting. Again, you can find me at Daddy Diwali across all social media. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This. You can also write into the show, Xbox Record This at Gmail, or visit xboxrecordthis.com. You can also find Chipotle Bear at Chipotle _ Bear on social media. And then the newest, almost potential assistant to the assistant co-host, Bubble Boy N7. You can find him on all social media since he was smart and secured that one. So I'm proud of that name change. As always, gentlemen, see you online.
We'll see you online.
See you online.
Xbox Record This is a podcast created by Daniel Walenzik. You can follow him at Daddy Diwali on all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle _ Bear on Twitter. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at Bubbleboy N7. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media. If you'd like to find out more about the show, visit xboxrecordthis.com.